And the big question that remains unknown because he suffered a knee injury in the preseason opener, what does J.J. McCarthy have, and can he become their first true franchise quarterback since Fran Tarkenton? At a time when we thought they were going to pick Darnold and either keep J.J. McCarthy around on ice for a couple of years, I had someone make the argument before the chariot turned into a pumpkin for Darnold that you could get a couple of first-round picks for McCarthy because he's better than any option in this year's rookie class. I don't know that that's true or not. Chris, you'll know eventually because you're going to be studying them more carefully. But the general thought on the NFL street right now is this year's class of rookies is nothing like last year.
Yeah, right.
But now it's I don't know how you bring Darnold back if he's going to be looking for mid-level starter money. I think you just got to turn it over to McCarthy at this point. That's why you drafted him. And yes, things went better than expected with Darnold last year. I just don't think after the way it ended, you can set yourself up for the same thing to happen again. Because the same thing could happen again.
Yeah.
Regular season goes great, and then here comes the money games, and the eyes go wide. And we've seen it. Like, why would we want to watch the same movie again? Things don't change. And maybe an obsession with performing better in the postseason is the kind of thing that would cause Darnold to not play as well in the regular season. He might be ruined from what happened. When Blair Walsh missed the 27-yard field goal 9 years ago, open air, in the Seahawks-Vikings playoff game, he was ruined after that. That's the other thing, too. We don't know what those final two games did to Darnold as a regular season player because the chariot's back to a pumpkin. Maybe it stays pumpkin now. I just wouldn't want to mess with it. We got the young guy.
Yeah.
Let's make the young guy the guy, and let's see what happens, and keep Daniel Jones around as the veteran back.
I hear you. That's what I expect them to do. I do. I think, one, you go, hey, trust what you wanted to do for the get-go, which is what you wanted to hand the keys over to J.J. McCarthy. Trust your evaluation there in the draft process last year, that you liked him and you thought he fit the offense, which I do think he does, right? I think he's, a guy that is made to throw deep crossers to Justin Jefferson and rifle it in there, and he's a better athlete running than Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold is from that manner. And his arm is stronger, too. He's got a strong arm, J.J. McCarthy. And let's not forget, he plays a pretty mature brand of style of football, too, having played up there in Michigan and won the national championship. So I don't think, they're going to fall off earth, even with him going, through a few of the bumps and bruises of being a rookie, basically, next year when he does play. But I'm with you, too, in that, the Sam Darnold thing, hey, only they're going to know the answers to that. But, yes, by what it looked like on film, by the actual, feel around the situation, what you hear from Vikings fans, what it feels like with people in the NFL and I know in the NFL, it doesn't feel like Sam Darnold is the long-term answer, that they're going to think that they're going to move on to J.J. McCarthy, right? That it played itself out in a way where it was like, hey, either he's going to survive and kick some butt here in the playoffs and we might have to keep him, or the other option is what happened. And it's going to be like, that wasn't good enough in our biggest moments. And I don't know if we want to trust you in the future, and we're going to move on. And it does feel like that's what's going to happen there in Minnesota.
As I said at the time, difficult decisions that you fret about that aren't ready to be made yet. Don't worry about them in any context, any setting, professional or personal, because the answer tends to reveal itself at the appropriate time. And it did for the Vikings.
Well, I feel like
the appropriate answer is just move on and move up J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, I feel you too. And sometimes it's like the gift and the curse of being a really awesome coach. And I'm asking you this too, because I've said this about players before, right? You've heard me say it with, Aaron Rodgers, John Elway, LeBron James, where I'd go, sometimes they're looked at as like playoff failures, and I want to be like, no, those teams don't, or Matthew Stafford with the Lions, like those teams aren't in the playoffs or in the conversation if it isn't for those guys. And then they're so good, they take everybody's expectations level to like, well, look what they're doing. We should win the championship this year, right? The uneducated fan. But I mean, am I wrong to say that really hey, 2 years ago when you got upset by the Giants in the playoff game, right? And this past year, I know you're 14-3 this year, 13-4 that year. It didn't feel like you were that of that quality of a football team, did it? I mean, it's like you guys were a 12-5-ish team or a 11-6-ish team that found ways to steal 2 or 3 games and have a shinier record. But I neither year did I sit here and go, watch out, the Vikings are about to run through the NFC playoffs. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just wanted to ask you, Mr. Viking fan. Yeah.
You're right. In 2022, they were just somehow finding a way to win coin flip games. They would have something crazy happen. They would make a play. That Bills game in 2022, remember that? The 4th and long, the throw to Justin
one-handed double coverage.
they fumble on a tush push at the goal line.
Right.
The Bills get it back. Well, the Vikings failed to score
yes.
on the tush push. And then the Bills fumble on the same kind of thing where they're trying to get Josh Allen out of the end zone. The Vikings tie it up, and they go to overtime. It's just crazy. The Colts game, they were down, 75 points at halftime. They came back and won the game. Right. So it was one thing after another that didn't feel sustainable. This year there were just times where the offense felt sluggish, and that was a product of Sam Darnold, who kind of had a dip after that initial great start. Those road games at Tennessee, at Jacksonville, at Chicago. The Chicago game, they finally woke up a little bit, but they tried to blow a lead. They had, they didn't knock out enough teams.
That's what I mean. Dominant.
They had too many missed opportunities.
Right.
Missed opportunity to make it a close game in Detroit. Missed opportunities to put teams away like the Packers twice.
Yeah.
The 49ers game. There were multiple
Jaguars
last year
right.
where they just can't clamp down on a team. The Titans came back against them. They gave up a 99-yard catch and run. So they need to be ready to just knock you down and step on your throat, and they need better players if they're going to get there. But even without great players, when you have a coach who can whip up playoff team out of a non-playoff roster,
right.
that's when you have a keeper. Because, again, even though they all say they want to win the Super Bowl every year, the key is to be a contender every year. Now, some Vikings fans would say, screw being contenders. Screw wait till next year. Been telling ourselves wait till next year for 50 years. But they are in a position where they have the right ingredient. They just need to now get better quality of players across the board. No offense to any of the guys who are already there. They do have some high-end talent. They need more of it, and when they get more of it, that's when they'll be ready to make their run.
That's
Just as the Lions' window might be closing, maybe theirs will be opening.
That's
right.
right.
Worry about the Bears.
Yeah.
Who knows what the Packers are going to be? Who knows what the rest of the NFL is going to be? Every year is so different. That's what's compelling about it. You reshuffle the deck, you shake up the container, and you just find out what's inside every single year.
That's it. You said it right. And like we always talk about, right? It's they got the meat and potatoes of the roster. Now they just got to get a little more sizzle in some certain areas. Some guys that can make some plays that go above and beyond. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. It can't always be Flores coming up with the greatest damn game plan we've ever seen, right? Or tricking you with all these crazy coverages, and that's why interceptions get thrown so much all the time. Sometimes you'd like to go, hey, I just want to put guys in the box and stop the run and have some guys outside that we can play man-to-man and just want to do that. Those are things that the Vikings can't always do, and hopefully they can improve that part. I mean, they got a killer combination in O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. They got a killer combination. It's not every day that this comes together like this. We talk about it all the time. And they came in the door together. I think they're both special in their own way, in their own departments, and it seems like they got a good working relationship. This is the kind of thing you keep it around. You let them work. You let them, find that vision for the future to where you can build something really sustainable for a long time here, and I think that's the potential the Vikings do have with these two guys leading the charge.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.